Hello everyone and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to explain 5 different small web projects or just 5 tasks that I created using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. These projects are simple but they are very important because they show how JavaScript works in real interactive websites. I will explain how buttons react to clicks, how JavaScript changes the page dynamically, how we work with events, and how we control user interaction. I will mostly focus on JavaScript, but I will also mention how it connects to HTML and CSS. This explanation is beginner friendly, so even if you are just starting with JavaScript, you should be able to understand everything. Let's start with the first project. Our first project is like background color changer. In simple words, in the first project I built a background color changer. What does this project do? When the user clicks on a button, the background color of the page changes. There is also a reset button which changes the background back to white. Okay, firstly HTML explanation. Each button has a special attribute called data color. For example, one button has data color beige, another has data color pink. This attribute is very useful because it allows us to store information inside HTML and then read it in JavaScript. All buttons are inside one container called button panel. And very important, it's JavaScript logic. First, I select the container, const panel document query selector button panel. Now, instead of adding a click listener to every single button, I add one event listener to the parent container. This technique is called event delegation, and the panel at event listener click event. When the user clicks anywhere inside the panel, JavaScript gives us access to event target. This tells us which element was actually clicked. And changing the background color. I read the value from event target dataset color. If the clicked button has a data color, I change the background. Document body style background color. If the user clicks the reset button, I check the button's ID and reset the background to white. And the last one is key ideas from project 1. Event delegation, dataset attributes, reacting to user clicks, and changing styles with JavaScript. And let's go to our second project. Our second project is just navigation tabs. This project is a navigation menu with tabs, similar to real websites. What does this project do? When the user clicks on a navigation button, the button becomes active, the correct content section appears, and the other sections disappear. Only one section is visible at a time. In the HTML structure, each navigation button has data target home, and each section has ID home. So the button and the section are connected using the same name. And the very important, it's JavaScript logic. First, I select all buttons and all sections. Const buttons document query selector all, nav button, or just nav btn. And the const sections document query selector all, content. Then for each button, I add a click event. What happens when a button is clicked? First, I remove the active class from all buttons. Secondly, I add the active class only to the clicked button. Third is I hide all sections. and I show only the matching section. This is done using loops and conditions. Why this is important? This project teaches how websites control visual content, how JavaScript manages UI state, how to connect buttons and content logically. And let's go to the third project. It's to-do list. This one of the most important beginner projects. Mm, what does this project do? The user writes a task, clicks add or presses enter. The task appears in a list. Clicking a task marks it as completed. Clicking delete removes it. And adding a task. When the user adds a task, I read the input value. I create a new element and I insert text and a delete button. And I add it to the list. And in the JavaScript, constantly document creates element li. This shows how JavaScript can create HTML elements dynamically. Event delegation again. Instead of adding events to every task, I add one click listener to task list, and the JavaScript checks if the delete button was clicked, removes the task, otherwise toggle the completed state. Apparently class list toggle completed. Why this project is important? This project shows real interaction logic, dynamic DOM creation, clean event handling, and state changes with CSS class. It was our third project. Let's go to the fourth. Uh, Next project is star rating system. This project allows the user to rate something from first to fifth stars. How it works? Each star has a number stored in HTML that rates 3. When the user clicks a star, I read the rating value, I update the text, I loop through all stars. Stars with lower or equal value become active. And the JavaScript logic is like if threads current thread, see class list at active. This creates a visual effect where stars light up correctly. What this teaches? Comparison logic, loops, and dynamic visual feedback. It was our fourth project. Let's go to the fifth. Fifth project is shopping cart. It's my favorite and interesting project. This project simulates adding products to a cart. What happens here? User clicks add to cart, product appears in the cart list. Product data comes from data attributes. And the important thing is JavaScript logic. I use event delegation again if the clicked element is a button. I read product name and ID. I created a new list item and I append it to the cart. Cart append child list item. Why this matters? This approach is scalable, clean, used in real e-commerce websites. And our the last task is bonus task. Um, Bonus task called language switcher. Mm, this project switches the website language. How it works. All translations are stored inside the JavaScript object. When a language button is clicked, JavaScript reads the selected language, updates the text dynamically. This is a very clean way to handle multilingual websites. And our conclusion, to conclude, this fifth project demonstrates how JavaScript interacts with HTML, how user actions trigger events, and how websites become dynamic, and how logic controls design. Practicing small projects like this is one of the best ways to learn JavaScript. And thank you for you watching.